Lastly, here we are, at towards the end of the program. And I actually wanted, this is our 100th episode, Doug. I mean, we've done this 100 times. And, I would say that I've been excited to lace it up 100 times with you.
It's been fun.
This has really been a good run. 2 years ago, when I've said that we'd be here, I think I would have said that we would be here at 100
Yeah, we got
episodes.
nothing. We got nothing else going on.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell are we going to do? This is all we do anyways. In our free time, this is what we do. We do the show in our free time. I mean, we probably could have made 50 episodes just off of us hanging out.
Yeah, people don't like it at parties.
No,
when this kind of it devolves into this.
It's terrible. But nonetheless, it is 100, and I think, especially this time of year, it's a time where people reflect. I think it's a time where we look back and we think about where we've been and what we've done. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we've done this 100 times, and we've done this for 2 years. And I just wanted to take us back a moment and maybe just kind of see what you thought, but to the intro of the very first episode
All right.
of the Cooper and Rupert podcast, and I'll play it right now for you.
Okay.
You good at commentate, so stick to commentate, let me do the fight.
Welcome to the Cooper and Rupert Podcast, everybody. This is episode 1. It is January the 13th, 2014 at about 9 p.m., and Doug and I are here sitting in Los Angeles, California, and we're here to talk to you about sports. That's primarily what this podcast is going to be about.
Some other stuff, maybe.
Some other stuff as well, most likely. Just knowing us, we'll catch a couple other things as well. And we're going to bring these to you for now every Monday. We'll let you know if that changes. Well, there you go. And it certainly, it kind of sort of did. We done, and I thought that was funny. I forgot about that. I think for the first show or two, we had that weird intro that I still don't know what the hell that song is.
Yeah.
It wasn't Black Pearl by African Music Machine,
yes.
Which is what we use. That's what we use now. One of the things that I also thought was interesting is I listened to the very first episode.
You did time a lot. You're really big into the exact time. You'd always look at your clock. You're like, it's so-and-so specific. And it was like time and temperature. That was kind of your game.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It is 58 degrees, and we are doing this show.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what those August shows are when we're just sweating in here just got a text message. But anyways, what I thought was interesting is we talked about Peyton Manning today, and then you had a couple of takes on the very first episode about Peyton Manning, and I'll play them right now.
Okay. Manning has got to win this game. If he wants to be in the conversation with Tom Brady about who was the best quarterback of their era, this is a game he has to win.
This, of course, is all happening right before he ends up beating Tom Brady and going to play Seattle in the Super Bowl and obviously getting housed there.
Yeah.
But this is right before that game. That's where we first had it, and then you go on to say this.
He has to play well. He has to play really well. Even if they lose, if he plays really well, he can live with that.
Okay. And I think that was good. You had one more on Peyton.
I sound out of breath. What bums me out about Peyton Manning is that he's not bad in the playoffs, and I don't want to be one of those guys that he says he chokes or whatever, because I don't think he does. But he just never has those games where, like, it's a big game, something's on the line, and he comes out and he's just badass. Like, he just kicks everyone's ass all over the field. Like, 3 touchdowns, 350 yards. Do I talk
like
similar to the stats he puts up in the regular season. Like, it just seems like he'll have good games, but he's never had that great game, that FU game. Why am I breathing so heavily?
I am the best player on the field, and you will all feel my power. Like, just I'm going to dominate everyone here.
Why am I so out of breath and passionate?
I think you were onto something, though. I do think that your take on that wasn't too bad. I think he did need to probably win that game, but I think we've since realized, 2 years later, that I think Tom Brady has taken himself to another level because of the Super Bowl he won last year.
Yeah.
And here's a couple other things that I thought that got a little bit sideways.
Okay.
And where we've come on this episode. And here was a statement that you made in the very first podcast, and I maybe want to know what you were talking about here.
Where are all the girls with the tits and like talking about tits?
That was a quote from the very first episode. And let me play that one more time just in case you...
Where are all the girls with the tits and like talking about tits? That's just a go-to line. I would say that's probably as close to a catchphrase as I have. Where are all the girls with the tits and like talking about tits?
Also, what happened on the first episode? I said this. Oh man, I can't wait to get a Bud Light in my mouth after the game.
That's nice.
That was about Peyton Manning, of course.
Yours
In the context, of course, your line there, which was very foul and out of place. It has to do with
Lance Armstrong. Right?
Lance Armstrong, I think. Yeah, that's exactly right. And this was actually I thought was maybe the most interesting thing.
Okay.
That mind you, this is our very first episode, and I'm going to guess that the thought that I make at the very beginning of this was the first time that I'd thought of this.
You love to talk about race.
I don't love to talk about race.
Yes,
I just think
you
it's
do.
a reality.
You love it.
I don't think if he was a black dude, he would be getting all those endorsements. He's a handsome white guy with a ponytail, so he gets a ton of shit.
I don't know if I
They're not giving the Gillette, keep a clean face to Marshawn Lynch.
There you go.
Man, we were good.
And I knew I knew you liked to talk about race from the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
And
I guess I denied it, but the truth is I do.
You do love to talk about race, and I still I don't know, I can't remember. I didn't listen to the whole episode. I just kind of skimmed through for really good highlights. But me calling you out for loving to talk about race, I thought was very ironic, considering we do get on that topic quite a lot.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, it seems like we still hit that topic up every single day. But it jumped out right at the very first episode.
Maybe we both love it now.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
That might be the case. I think it's time for us to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, we only went like 45 minutes over. So.
Yeah, we didn't. We went 15. We went about 15, 16 minutes over today. I'm just. It's been a good run, man. We've had 100 of these. I'm looking forward to the next 100.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on the next 100 episodes? Maybe next 200 episodes?
I hope we get paid.
Where are all the girls with the tits and talking about tits?
That's kind of my motivation.
That happened. I want you to understand that did happen
in
on an
the
episode.
context that happened. I stand by that point because Lance Armstrong is a sleaze. That was my impression of Lance Armstrong, for the record.
Well, thank you guys for listening to episode number 1, which I think we even released before we even told anybody we were doing a podcast, so you might not even heard that. If you're looking for something really funny, go back and listen to the first one. It's not that good, but it is kind of interesting. We were heavy on Anthony Bosch and Alex Rodriguez that episode. It's funny going back and listening to where we came from to where we are right now. Everybody who's listened from the beginning to now, if this is your very first episode you've ever listened to, thank you. If you listen to the old ones and have come and been all the way to where we are now, thank you so much. It's been a great run, and we're going to be here with you now for the next 100 to 20,000.
Yeah, well said.
Where are all the girls with the tits and talking about tits?
All right, we'll see you guys.
Damn it.